Eddie, the dust has settled. How has Anthony Joshua been after tasting defeat for the first time as a professional?
He's hurting, no doubt about that, because he's a competitor, he's a winner. I was with him this morning, just talking about the rematch, obviously. Still licking his wounds a little bit, but a positive, upbeat guy, looking forward to getting back to camp. Still needs a little bit of time to rest. He's been doing promotional bits and pieces with Under Armour today. I saw him with Barack Obama the other day doing a speech, so he's always taken care of his obligations like a pro. Needs a little bit of downtime to rest, get his mind right for a very important fight and a very important camp. And the job over the next week is just to finalise now the details of where and when that will be.
Can you give us an update on the likely date and venue for the rematch?
I can't tell you too much just because I don't know, other than between November the 16th and December the 14th will be the date of the fight. We've had offers from 5 different countries to stage the fight. For me, it's a straight decision between the UK or America. In the UK, we're talking to Cardiff, to Wembley and to Tottenham. And in America, we've had a couple of approaches, but our preference is Madison Square Garden. I think, a sensible man would say do it in the UK. Anthony feels as though it would be special to rewrite history and get the win at Madison Square Garden. So it's really not about the money so much, it's just about where we believe this fight should take place. And that those decisions will be made in the next week.
AJ has voiced that he would prefer the fight to take place in the States. Do you think that will sway it?
He's going to make the decision at the end of the day. Wherever he wants the fight is where it's going to be. And right now, there was definitely an element of, I feel like I should do it there. We've seen him in great performances in Wembley and in Cardiff, and it would be a special night to do it there. 80,000, 90,000. It's the biggest fight in boxing at the moment. But like I said, he will be the one that calls the final shots, and once we give him all the information, the dates, the possible venues, he'll make a decision. Right now, I couldn't tell you what that will be, but I would definitely say it's between the UK and America.
Having said that he will make the final decision, it looks most likely that it will be in the States, you'd think?
No, not necessarily, because certain things can change, dates, venues, mindset. It was a very quick decision after the fight to say that I feel like I should do this in America. That can change. My advice would probably be to do it in the UK. I think makes sense. You've got a bigger advantage there, but he's that kind of individual where he feels like it would be impressive and it would be historic to do it back there. He would also love to fight at Wembley again. He's had great memories of Cardiff. So he will make the final decision, but he will only do that when he's got everything to evaluate.
You wanted AJ to conquer America. It is crucial that he wins this rematch for that to happen, if it happens in the States.
Yeah, it's sometimes difficult to remember that AJ's only had 23 fights. Around 40 fights as an amateur. He is still learning, but it is a very important rematch. He's a winner, and he's driven to win this fight. It's a fight we believe he should have won. It's a fight we believe he will win. And I know that Anthony Joshua's desire to beat Andy Ruiz will be huge. But it's going to be a very tough fight. You're going to have a guy in Andy Ruiz's confidence is sky high. And obviously AJ's coming off a defeat, the first one of his career. Every fight's important to win, this one particularly. And I believe he'll do it.
Lose this, where does he go?
Well, again, he would have had 24 fights. So 24 fights, 30 years old, having only lost to one person. For me, the story continues, even with defeat. But we don't look at defeat at this moment in time. It's only about the win. This is going to be the first fight for a long time that he goes into without people talking about other fights. When are you going to fight Wilder? When are you going to do this? Oh, you'll beat this guy. This is solely about the rematch with Andy Ruiz. So for that, I'm excited that he gets a chance to just focus on this fight. It's very difficult from the last fight to focus on that fight with all the noise. Now the only thing that's important is beating Andy Ruiz. People are always quick to criticise and write people off. Andy Ruiz is a good fighter. We told everyone that in the build-up. But for sure, we want to win this fight. We don't look at career ending, all that kind of stuff. Like I said, he would have had 24 fights and lost to one man. But we need to win. He needs to win. He wants to win so bad. And I believe he will do. And I believe this will go down as a remarkable chapter in Anthony Joshua's career.
When do you expect a final decision to be made on this rematch?
Probably around the weekend. We're close now. We're nailing down the dates. And, we need to make a decision by the end of this week.
After the fight, rumours circulated of an exchange between you and Anthony Joshua's father in the ring. Can you shed any light on that?
No, he was very upset. You know, he was talking about the ref, he was talking about where they were staying, the chef. Other people got it in the ear as well. You know, I saw so many things, panic attacks, concussion in sparring, all complete rubbish. But he was upset. Few people got it in the ear hole. I was one of them. Unfortunately, my one was bang on Sky Sports.
What did you make of Tyson Fury's win on the weekend, and will that give AJ even more motivation?
No, look, Fury's a great entertainer. You know, Tom Schwartz, with all due respect, I don't believe would win a British title. But Tyson did what he, was supposed to do: entertain, get an easy win, make some good money, and move on. You know, he's going to have another easy touch later in the year, and then hopefully next year we'll see him, even fight Wilder or the Ruiz Joshua winner. So, Fury had a good week. He's a very good fighter. He's a great character. Like to see him in slightly more competitive fights with better undercards. But, he's going to do his thing, and he'll get another easy win later in the year. And I think next year you'll see him in some big fights.
What did you make of Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder's comments after Anthony Joshua's defeat?
Listen, everybody's got an opinion. Tyson Fury's comments fluctuate every day. He praised Joshua, then he slagged him off, and then Wilder said what he's going to say. But look, it doesn't really matter. You've got to take the rough with the smooth in life. They love you when you're on the way up, and they kick you when you're on the way down. That's just life. So the ones that are supporting AJ now, they're the real people. They're the real fans. And he's very thankful for that support. And those same people that are encouraging to come back are going to be the people that are going to give him the motivation to succeed. And maybe the haters as well give him the motivation to succeed. But I think in Anthony Joshua, you have a great man, a great athlete, a great champion that will come back and rule again. And I'm going to be behind him, and I think the whole country should be behind him, because he's a great person, and he's very important for the sport of boxing. So get on this journey, get on this story, because this one's going to be a lot of fun.
Another heavyweight who would be watching closely is Dillian Whyte. Are we any closer to a resolution with the WBC?
We're getting there. I mean, it's very important that this is solved this week. We know that the interim world title fight's there. We know that the mandatory position's there. It's just when. When does that mandatory happen? We will fight tooth and nail for Dillian Whyte on this, because he deserves. This week it's going to be 600 days that Dillian Whyte has been WBC #1. It's incredible, and he deserves justice. And I think we're right now on the brink of making that happen. All we've got to do is just confirm some very fair points, and we can get rid of this whole mess, and everybody can move on with their life.
So there's a chance his next fight against Oscar Rivas could be a final eliminator?
I think it very, very most likely will be, and an interim world title fight.
Moving on, Kell Brook recently put to bed any retirement talks. What do you see next for him?
He wants big fights only. I mean, he was supposed to fight on June the 1st at Madison Square Garden. Couldn't really get himself up for a smaller fight. He wants a big fight. He wants Crawford, he wants Khan, and that's what we're working towards later this year.
So the Khan fight can still happen?
Yeah, it can. I mean, we're going to be doing the Saudi Arabia fight with him. We've got a couple of big heavyweights on that card as well. And then, he still talks about fighting Pacquiao in Saudi Arabia. But for me, the Brook fight is a fight that if Amir can win on July the 12th, just make that fight October, November.
I mean, we've been saying this for a while, but time is running out. That has to happen next, do you think?
It's still a huge fight, and still a great fight. But, I keep saying it has to happen this year, but it has to happen this year.
The man headlining this card, Conor Benn, he's been linked with Josh Kelly. After Josh Kelly's draw in New York, do you think that fight is closer now than ever?
Maybe. I mean, I think Josh Kelly he's an exceptional fighter. He's moved very quickly in the pro ranks. He's moved through the levels as a pro much quicker than Conor Benn, mainly because he's got an extensive amateur career. So Conor's like learning on the job, and that's why I always worry for Conor, especially in fights like this. Very tough fight, headlining a show at York Hall. I think Conor Benn against Josh Kelly is a big domestic fight at the right moment, but for now it's just about focusing on Friday night.
Is that fight near?
Well, I mean, you've got one guy coming off a draw and you've got another guy who's fighting on Friday, so maybe ask me next week.
Thank you very much.